Okay, I'm ready.
Trust is a very valuable thing in life, but once the trust is broken, it's hard to repair the damage. Watch how it all unfolds this season on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review Season 5, Episode 1 and the premiere of The Real Housewives Who Are Still Chaotic of Salt Lake City. So we start the season off with another dramatic intro. We see Heather sitting down to film a confessional. Then one by one, we go to everyone's house with them narrating a speech in the background. We start off with Heather. She's in front of the mirror. She's like, you know, we open up our lives for the world to judge and then we wait for their opinions. I'm like, Heather, sit down, please. Then we head over to Whitney's house. She's in her living room playing with her Tickle Me Elmo and her Barbies. Then we hear her in the background.
We also share our personal secrets to each other because that's what best friends do. You know, they share personal secrets. And guess what? I'm not supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We have a lot of dark secrets this season, so tune in.
Then we head over to Meredith's house, her 5th house that she's renting in a row. Meredith, what is going on here? Because it's looking suspicious. On top of that, you know, not only is she renting, but she's also in a bathtub. So you're also renting and you're also leaving your molecules from bathtub to each house that you rent. Like, what is going on here? She's just in there just soaking like bubbles and all. Then we hear her in the background.
Sometimes we make decisions and we have to live with the consequences of those decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Then we head over to Angie K's huge-ass house with her suspicious husband, her colorful puppy, and she's in the kitchen, you know, pretending to cook, and we hear her in the background. We also share parts of our marriages that's not always the best, but we share it anyway because we have to do that on a TV show. That's it. We could go to the next house. Then we head over to Lisa Barlow's house, and she's probably talking about herself to her husband and her son. In the background, she says, sometimes those who behold... Sorry, hold on. I want to get this right. What's the line again? Okay, thank you, baby gorgeous. Can I get a Diet Coke? Thank you. Sometimes those who we hold very close to our hearts... I'm sorry, I'm shy. Sometimes those who we hold very close to our hearts, we have to put on display. I love that. Then we hear Heather. You know, when everything else fails, we all go back to what we first started with. And then we see the whole entire cast, including the new housewife and Mary, who didn't get an intro for some reason. They're all standing in a circle in the middle of the snow, just looking up. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not sure what kind of Illuminati ritual they were trying to do, what kind of spirit they were trying to summon up, or demons or whatever. But no, I grabbed my holy water and my rosary. I'm like, no, I'm watching The Real Housewives. I'm not watching a horror movie. And then, of course, that dramatic music that is injected into my veins, it started playing in the background. It's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, that music is just so creepy, but so dramatic. I was just watching over my shoulder like, is somebody in my house as I'm watching The Real Housewives? Like, it's so creepy, right? And then next thing you know, all chaos breaks loose. We see a little preview of what's to come this season. Everybody's just going after each other. Surprise, surprise with this cast. And then we see the intro of everybody holding a snowflake. But Angie K, she has the center snowflake this season. Like, I mean, Angie K, she won me over, obviously, last season after a while, but I don't understand why is she in the center. And then Heather, I'm not mad about this, but Heather, she's all the way in the back. Like, she's all the way back there in the intro. I was watching, I'm like, where is Heather? Is that her? You know, I had to get my binoculars. I'm like, is that Heather in the background holding a snowflake? So then we start off with Lisa and her sister-in-law, Kim, showing up to this empty parking lot with this rundown barn in the background because Lisa's actually throwing the first cast event of the season, which I love that right away, 2 minutes into the new season, we're already getting the cast together and reunited, and we don't have to wait like 500 episodes for all of them to sit down together in one scene. So other housewife shows, take notes. This is how you do it. Even though I feel like secretly this was a casting call in disguise of Lisa's event, the producers were probably like, okay, we're gonna get a bunch of random women all together at Lisa's event. You know, we're just gonna disguise it as Lisa's friends, but we're gonna try to test out certain women to see how they mingle with the original cast to compete on who gets a snowflake on this upcoming season. And if I was any of the women, I would have thought, okay, if I'm trying to get on the show, how can I stand out from the rest? Let me pick a fight with one of the main cast members. I'm gonna go after Lisa Barlow. Hey, Lisa, can you come over here for a second? I just wanna have a one-on-one with you really quick, just really quick. You know, just a second ago, I just got to your party and you walked by me and I just feel like you didn't say hello to me nicely and then throw a drink on her. And then boom, now I'm in the intro holding a snowflake next to Angie K. Not Heather, because Heather's all the way in the back. Lisa explains the reasoning for her event, and she's like, well, after everything that happened within our friend group, it was a lot. We went through a lot together. And then we see a flashback of the iconic Monica. Of Monica just chewing everybody up at the finale last season, and that's the reason why everybody's in their feelings now. So Lisa's like, after that, I realized, why not just throw something Valentine's Day themed, since Valentine's Day is around the corner. I love it. And I should call it like a besos party, a besos. And it was driving me crazy the way she was pronouncing that. It's besos, Lisa, besos. What the hell is a besos? She kept saying, yeah, besos, my besos party. I love besos. Like, no, you might as well just call the whole thing Jeff Bezos at this point. And then she's like, well, I also want to show that I love everybody, some more than others. 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 Okay, enough. And then we see a flashback. And again, the editing on this show is just perfect because we kept going from flashback to flash forward, flashback to flash forward. I kind of got nauseous a little bit. I'm like, oh, my stomach is getting a little queasy going from back and forth like this. It was like whiplash. We see in a flashback, she's sitting down with Heather and Angie K, LMNOP, and she's telling them, I can't believe that Whitney went on a podcast and she basically said that I was a villain. Like, who says that about me? So you're in your feelings because Whitney is calling it correctly this time. Interesting. So then we flash forward and we see Lisa. She's just bossing everybody around like, can you get the Vita Tequila and the Wendy's and the McDonald's? I want a big Kit Kat. I need Taco Bell. Baby gorgeous, can you hurry up? I don't like things slanted like that. Get it together. And I'm like, I hope you're paying them insurance with the way you're speaking to them like that, but okay. Then we see Mary M. Cosby. She's returning not as a friend of, but a full-time housewife. But she also has her bestie, Angie K, LMNOP, next to her. And I'm like, this is crazy. Their whole thing blossomed because of the reunion last season. Angie K was sitting next to her and was like, oh, you have some lipstick on your teeth? And they became best friends ever since because now they're walking out the truck together. They came together. They're holding hands and everything. And I'm like, wow, like hell has frozen over. And Angie K she was excited in the confessional. She was like, well, after everything that happened last year between me and Mary, now we're like best friends and we go everywhere together. And she invited me to Kathy Hilton's party as her +1. And I'm very curious about that interaction between Kathy Hilton and Mary M. Cosby. Like, what do they have to talk about? What's that interaction like? I can only imagine both of them blinking at each other like, so hey. So then the new version of Heather shows up and she walks up to Mary, already not even 5 minutes into the episode, and Mary tells her, oh, Heather, you look pretty. And then, oh, Mary, you're not supposed to comment on things like that. But I was wondering if they were going to address the obvious weight loss from Heather, and they did, and Heather addresses it later on as well. That is because of Ozempic. And, it's very unfortunate because I believe I saw an interview of her when she first started getting on Ozempic, and she said that, the pressure of society, of how, the audience is looking at her, they comment on her weight, how she looks, and how she looks on camera, and that's why she got on it. And I believe that she's afraid that is going to affect her daughters in the future. And it's unfortunate, but then in the confessional, Heather, she gets a little too ahead of herself because she's like, oh, I finally won over Mary because I'm thin and pretty now. I'm no longer inbred looking to her. Who said that? Now, wait a minute. Like, you need to reel that back a little bit, Heather. When did she say that? Maybe the producers cut that scene because I didn't hear Mary take back her comment. Two things could be true at the same time. Like, yes, you could be thin now, but you could also look inbred. So let's not do too much. So then we meet the new housewife of the show. Her name is Bronwyn. She shows up with this heart-shaped fur and it seems that the whole fashion thing is going to be her thing this season. She's fashion. She's a fashion girl. She knows all the clothes. And, I just don't see it. I feel like it comes off so forced and not authentic. How do you say authentic? It just doesn't come off like genuine. I feel like the clothes are wearing her instead of vice versa. Like, it's a cute fur, but that's about it. And then in the flashback of when we see her walking down the sidewalk where her bra and panties and the puffer jacket, it just comes off so forced. Like, what? I'm supposed to be impressed by that? Like, it's a cute outfit, but again, I don't know. We'll see as time goes by, I guess. So we get a little backstory of her. She is married to this man who is 68 and she is 38. All right, I believe that they have a child together. She is 17. Her name is Gwen. I believe she also has a stepchild through him who is older than her. And they have 6 dogs, which that's too many bitches in one house. But she has an interesting backstory, I guess. She's being introduced through Lisa, and I'm like, oh boy. Let's see how long this lasts until Lisa just throws her underneath the bus and just runs her over a couple of times. She says that her and Lisa have been friends for 7 years, aka they probably just met 5 minutes before this event started, but okay. That Bronwyn was shopping at the mall one day. Lisa just came up to her randomly like, oh my God, baby gorgeous. I love your outfit. I love your skirt. Where did you get it? I love it. And Bronwyn was looking at her like, get away from me, you creep. And they eventually became friends. But okay, I mean, Bronwyn, she seems okay. She seems all right for now. I like her fur coat. It's cute. Meredith shows up, followed by Whitney, and Whitney is accompanied by the new friend of the show, Melly. Whitney, I'm not sure what this whole Courtney Love look you had going on. It looked like she took like 5 tequila shots before she left the house and shook her head and said, okay, I'm ready. Very interesting choice. But she shows up to the event and there's awkward tension. She's looking over at Lisa. Lisa's looking at her like, okay, like we haven't talked since the reunion. There's some things that, need to be said between us, but they avoid each other. Meanwhile, we see Bronwyn and Mary and Cosby. They're sitting down. They're having cute conversation, right? It was cute interaction. Then we see the other friend of the show, Brittany. Brittany comes over. She's just like, oh, hey, everybody. And she sits right in between them. And Mary's just looking at her like... like, who is this? Like, some random stranger just sat in between this. And then she offends Bronwyn, and she's like, oh, Bronwyn, or, I like your costume. Bronwyn, she's like, ooh. She's like, first of all, this is not a costume. This is couture. This is couture. This is Saint Laurent, and it is $15,000. $15,000 for a football outfit? Like, that is crazy. Those big ass shoulders, like, that is crazy. And she's like, well, this jacket, only 3 people have it. Me, Rihanna, and, a museum. Is anybody buying her story? So Brittany already offended Bronwyn. She already bothered Mary. She's already coming in on the wrong foot, right? And I just don't understand why she wasn't a full-time housewife. Like, she has chaotic energy. Like, her mouth is crazy. Her relationship status is insane because she's being introduced through Heather in the confessional. Brittany's like, well, I've been dating, on again, off again with Jared Osman. I believe he's famous. I don't know who he is. But, we break up like every other weekend and we date other people. And I believe we've broken up, like 16 times already. But I just keep going back because, he's hot. And I'm like, wow, she has all the ingredients to a perfect housewife. And I already know that she has a whole bag, tons full of bags of skeletons in her closet. Like, Mary tells Brittany that she has an office that she keeps her stuff in. And Brittany's like, oh, so you're like a hoarder. Here goes football shoulders. Oh, Brittany, we need to get you a thesaurus because you obviously don't have a way with words. And Brittany continues digging this hole deeper for herself because she tries to clean it up. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like a hoarder like that. I get it, like being poor, like I get it because I was in the same situation. Mary's like, first of all, who mentioned anything about me and being poor? When did I say that? Like, yeah, Brittany, where did you get that assumption from? Just insane. And then Brittany continues and she's like, no, it's because when I was younger, I didn't have anything. And, I used to steal bread and put it into my purse. Like, this is the introduction you want to give us? Like, that is not the type of bread that you're supposed to be putting in your purse. But then again, I can't even judge too much because my own mother, she did the same thing at Red Lobster, because I think Red Lobster has unlimited biscuits. So she would bring her purse and just, and we'll leave with a whole bag of biscuits. So I can't judge too much, but at this point, yeah, Brittany, you ruined your chance at any friendship with Mary. Mary's just like, yeah, no, I'm done with this. She gets up and she walks away and she leaves Brittany with shoulders. As everyone is mingling, Meredith, she's looking at Whitney like a shark. She's just like, and then she approaches Whitney like she's like the mafia queen in this big ass fur jacket. And she's like, hello, Whitney, I want to talk to you about something really quickly. I just want to... I want to comment about your new business venture that you're doing about bath bombs. Whitney's looking at her like, bath bombs? Yes, bath bombs. Bath bombs? Yes, the bath bombs. Bath bombs? Like, Whitney was genuinely confused. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm looking at Meredith like, what are you getting at? And Meredith, like Portia said, that's a reach. Because Meredith goes on to say that she feels some type of way because Whitney is now launching a bath bomb line when Meredith was gonna do that to begin with. And I'm like, Meredith, you're not the queen of bath bombs. Like, okay, like, so what if she's doing it? Like, okay, so if you come out with a skincare, can Whitney come at you like, Meredith, why are you starting a skincare line? I already have one. Like, it is just, oh my goodness, like but okay, fine. So Whitney was just like,
Meredith, I don't know what you're talking about. You already knew that I came out with bath bombs. Like, it was already part of my line if you would have known already.
So Meredith jumps out the bathtub because she's like, well, I mean, I just feel like Whitney, I just feel like you're trying to come for me. Like, you don't want to be my friend anymore because of this. I'm like, Meredith, you are not serious with this. Like, what did they put in that bathtub that you were sitting in at the beginning of the episode? Like, what do you mean? Just because she's coming out with a bath bomb line, like, she doesn't want to be your friend anymore? Like, she's coming at your friendship? Like, what? And then Meredith, she just continues to vent. And she's like, well, I just never got over you accusing me about the whole reality Bontees. Even just hearing that name still now, like, all these months later, like, just so iconic. She's like, you've been accusing me of that. You accused me of this, about that. And I'm not over that. And I'm like, okay, Meredith, so are you going to put it in the past or are you not? Like, I thought we just kind of moved on from this. And Whitney made a good point, surprisingly. And she's like, well, I mean, are we going to be friends or not? Do you want to be my friends? I don't get it. Here goes Mary in the confessionals. Okay, they're fighting over bath bombs. Like, who even takes baths? I don't take baths because I don't want a yeast infection. I'm like, what is this show? What is this show? So then Angie K, she comes up like a shark and she's like, ta-na, 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 ta-na. She's like, Whitney, can you just tag me in? I want to come at Meredith. So she tags her in. Whitney, she goes away. She's looking at Meredith and she's like, Meredith, I need to talk to you about something because me and you have some issues that are not finished yet, so I have something for you. So she's digging in her purse, and I'm like, here we go with the stunts and the theatrics. Next thing you know, she pulls out a scroll, and she whips it out, and the whole thing falls to the ground. It's a list of things that she has against Meredith, and I'm like, first of all, where did you get a scroll from? Like, that's number one. Number two, like, Angie, what are we doing? Everybody is shocked, like, what is going on? Meredith, surprisingly, she still gives her attention, and she's like, what are you talking about? What issues? What do I have against you? I didn't do anything to you. So Angie K, she's like, well, you said that I was in the mafia. You said I was this. You said I was that you could buy my house, et cetera, et cetera. And I completely forgot about that mafia comment, which, I mean, is still up in the air. But Meredith is just like, first of all, no, I never said any of that. I never said that I could steal your house or that you were in the mafia or nothing like that. You know what? No, I'm disengaging. I don't want any of this. I'm leaving. And she walks away, and that was that. Like, they moved the event into the rundown barn, and there's a long dinner table with names on it. Mary notices that her name is sitting right next to Brittany, so she tells Angie K, switch the names. Switch it quickly. Yeah, she blew any type of chance that she had with Mary, right? So they sit down, they start making fun of how Angie K brought out the scroll on Meredith, and Angie's just like, well, I mean, I only brought it out because I wanted, to list out all the things that Meredith, is wrong of, that she accused me of falsely, and that's, she has an issue with me. Meredith is looking at her across the dinner table like, first of all, Angie K, I never said anything about you. I don't have an issue with you. I never said anything about you or your house or nothing like that. You know what? I'm done. And then she says her infamous line, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm disengaging with this. Angie K is just like, well, first of all, you messed around with my family and you said that you were gonna take away my house, the house that I pay for, that I own, and you are not. You're renting. And I'm like, oh, notice how Meredith stayed quiet. I'm like, Meredith, come on, get up. Like, she's kind of chewing you up a little bit. And Meredith, she had nothing to say. I mean, she was just like, I mean, she's kind of right. You keep going from bath to bath to bath every other season. Meanwhile, we've known Angie K to just been in one house, that big ass house, empty, but it's still a house. And Angie basically said, finish her, because Meredith was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go live my life. You go live yours. Okay, Meredith, you go live yours. Okay, I will. Yeah, you go live yours in your rental. I'm like, yikes, Meredith, like, Meredith, get up. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, Angie K, I can see maybe why she got the center snowflake this season. Maybe, Meredith, yikes, it wasn't looking good for you. And she stayed quiet. She had nothing to say. So then Whitney, she speaks up and she's looking at Lisa across from her. And she's like,
Lisa, I just want to talk about what you said about the podcast. I feel like you were trying to address me or something. What was that about? Can you talk to me about that? What did I do to you?
Lisa was just like, well, I mean, you talked about me all the time on a podcast that's supposed to be about you, but yet you made it about me for like about 2 hours, and you were trying to basically downplay who I am, my persona. Like, no, like, I'm not doing that with you, Whitney. Like, that's very unacceptable. Like, you're not going to continue lying to me about this all the time, Whitney. You continue dragging me through the mud all the time. Like, what is going on? And I'm like, Lisa, calm down. Calm down. Eat a piece of bread. Like, relax. Whitney was just like,
First of all, I didn't say anything about you. I just spoke my truth.
and I mean, technically, yes, she did. Because if it was the other way around and Lisa, was being shady about Whitney on a podcast, I'm pretty sure that Whitney will be in her feelings as well. So I get both sides. I could see Lisa being in her feelings. I could see Whitney being in her feelings. Now, this is where I don't understand, because Whitney, she accidentally let it slip out on purpose. And she was just like, well, I mean, you talked about me too and said that I was a liar. I was this, that, and the third. Somebody just came up to me and told me that about you. So obviously she's talking about either Heather or Angie K, because in the flashback, we saw Lisa venting to both of them. And Lisa started pointing her finger at Angie K and Heather. Was it you? Was it you? Was it you? And I would say if I was either one of them, I would have been like, put the finger down and then we'll address that. Don't point at me like that. You better watch those pointing fingers. And then nobody said anything, right? So Whitney was just like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to confess anything until you apologize to me about what you said about me. So eventually we see in a flashback that who was the culprit? It was Angie K. Angie K came over to Whitney's new house, which her house is really, really nice. And she basically told everything that Lisa told her. So Angie K was being messy. So, ooh, Angie, I can definitely see why you're getting the center snowflake now that I put the pieces together. First the scroll, then, chewing up Meredith, and now you're being the bone collector? Like, wow. The pillar in our community. Heather speaks up and she's like, I never said anything to Whitney that had nothing to do with me. So the fall obviously falls on Angie K. Angie's not saying anything. So Lisa's like, okay, Angie K, did you say anything? Did you? Eventually Angie K's like, well, I mean, sort of, kind of. Like, I did tell her bits and pieces, and then Lisa just loses it. She gets up from the table, and I'm like, Lisa, what are you about to do? Again, you tried to do the same thing with Monica. Like, Lisa is itching to get into a physical fight on this show because you did it with Monica last season at the finale, and now you're doing it with Angie K. And Angie is much better than me because Angie just kept telling her, you need to sit down. Absolutely not. That's when you bring out the scroll that you just pulled out on Meredith, and you make it into a weapon. The whole party would have went from besos to beatdown really quick. So Lisa's getting up and she's like, why did you tell her that? You're making up lies, Angie. You're making up lies. And I'm like, again, sit down and eat a piece of bread. So then Whitney, she gets the backbone all of a sudden and she's like,
first of all, Lisa, you're not going to stop me from speaking my truth. I can say what I want. I'm going to say what I want because you also used my healing journey that I was doing last season and the season before that. And the season before, and on season 1, I was healing 20. I'm still healing. You used it against me.
And I'm like, what did I say in my video on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City ranking? What did I say? I said that I could bet you $5 that she is going to bring up this whole healing journey the first episode. And here we are. I won my $5. I'm like, Whitney, what? So now she turned it on Lisa because Lisa was poking fun at her healing journey again, like everybody else does. And she was texting her like, oh, good luck on your healing journey. And I guess she took that, the wrong way. So Lisa was just like, well, show us your new heel, Whitney. Show us who you really are then. And Whitney starts going at her. And again, Whitney was also losing it. So Whitney, she was like,
you know what? You want to know the real Whitney Rose, the heel Whitney? You want to know?
So everybody's waiting like, okay, let's see. And she's like,
how about this? Fuck you, Lisa Barlow.
And then she puts her middle finger up and I'm like, wow, look at the little girl acting like a grown woman finally. So she gets up and she's like,
no, you're not going to stop me from saying what I want. I'm a big girl and I'm going to go home and play with my Barbie dolls and my Bratz dolls and my Tickle Me Elmo. Lisa, screw you.
And did anybody see the band members that were sitting to the side? They were just laughing watching this whole interaction go on. So I believe Angie K gets up and she follows her with the other irrelevant friend of the show. What's her name? Melly. She walks her out. They leave and Lisa's like, go ahead. And Lisa also grabs a glass and she smashes it on the ground. And I'm like, Lisa, so unhinged, and for what? Like, is it really that serious that she called you the villain? Like, I wouldn't take that as an insult. That's actually a compliment. Villains are much better than superheroes, but okay. So that was that. Heather was just like, oh my God, what is going on? Like, what's happening? Angie K, she's my girl. She's my friend. Here goes Meredith. Well, I mean, obviously you didn't see that coming, right? Obviously she's her friend. I'm like, Meredith, what was that laugh? But okay. And that was the season premiere. It was a chaotic dinner. Like, everybody was just coming at Whitney full force. Like, no, you lied about this on season 2, season 3, season 4, season 1. Like, they had all the receipts, and Whitney just kept saying, oh, no, I never lied about this. But it's just like, Whitney, we have you on camera being messy, being a bone collector, and lying. So it's just like, I can see why all of them are ganging up on you, and I'll allow it. You know, because you've been messy far too long. So it's just like, yeah, somebody has to call you out on all your BS, and, you know, you couldn't take it. So she walks out. So we'll see what happens with this. But yeah, very chaotic season opener. Like, this is the first episode, so I can only imagine the rest of the season is only going to be just as chaotic. Monica, she'll always be missed. But like I said before, you know, the show kept moving. Like, they're going to continue moving, whether Jen is on the show, whether Monica's on the show. We'll just see, and we'll see what Bronwyn, you know, what she brings to the show as well. You know, fashion, I guess. But let me know what you thought about this whole entire season premiere. Are you hopeful for it? Like, who are you looking forward to seeing? What do you think about the friends of the show? What do you think about Bronwyn? Do you like her fashion? Let me know down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.